My mom reposted my story. I said, eh? How did you know?
Well, welcome everybody. We are in the Topiary Room, the third episode of the Topiary Social Club radio program, in which the Topiary Social Club invites club experts and non-so experts to give advice to the Topiary Social Club because we are a new club and we want to learn from others and try to figure out how to survive, as a club. But the topic of today's program, Paulina, by the way, the topic of today's program is to discuss about what it means to have or not to have a venue to organize activities. Because at this moment we are likely to have a venue for the weekend in the great interior. You can see now we are surrounded by different artworks of different classmates from Studio for Immediate Spaces. So for all the listeners, you can imagine them and come to sit until tomorrow. So that will be the main focus of this talk. But before starting, you can introduce yourself. Who are you? Who is in this club now? And which club you represent, or which venue you have or not have. But we can start.
Okay, I can start.
Yes.
Because actually I do run something that is a little bit, I think, similar to the social club we are in now. But what I run is a radio. So I run a radio based in Amsterdam, around West, close to Sloterdijk. It's kind of a community radio. Try to invite people that is a bit less seen in Amsterdam and just to hang out with us. But luckily we have a space, and our radio is called Big Toilet Radio. By the way, Big Toilet Radio. We have a radio booth in our studio. So it's a studio, me and my studio mate share, and then we start the radio together in our studio. So then the studio become multi-functional.
Mm-hmm.
So that is my...
And before you
Did I say my name?
No, you didn't.
Ah, shit. Yeah, my name is Goy, and I run the radio called I have problem pronouncing this word. Big Toilet Radio, and go and follow our Instagram. We have a lot of events. Soon we're gonna have more different venue, making different events. I can share that later.
Cool.
It's a struggle, but I will share that later.
Cool. And do you have Facebook?
No,
How will we
unfortunately, I have
follow
I have a personal Facebook though, Goy Tong. But
Okay,
if you want to link me to Facebook, you can see my story that is connected together with my Facebook, which the Meta did now. Because no one wants to use Facebook anymore, so they automatically post your thing on Facebook. So
Yeah.
there you will see me.
Yeah, you can see. Okay, thank you, Goy. And who we
You're
have
welcome.
here?
Hi, I'm Nick.
Yeah.
Let's see. I guess I used to be really involved in like animal rights organizations, I guess, which maybe is like relevant to the discussion because I guess you could call it a social club in a way, because we did a lot of like actions and things like that without having a space to exist in. I was doing it for many years, and I sort of pulled back kind of recently. But I can talk about that. I think I have a lot of like experience doing that sort of thing. I recently started working also at a bakery, which is taking up a lot of my time. We do have a physical location, but only as of like less than a year. So actually, before that, there was bagels being made without.
Yeah.
Just in like a dark dungeon. It was like a shared sort of kitchen. It was actually before I even worked there, but I was aware of the whole process taking place. So maybe I can talk about those two things.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you, Nick. And who we have here in the right?
Hi, I'm Diego. I actually am not from Amsterdam, I'm from London. I'm studying social psychology there. And I became a member of the Topiary Club yesterday. So it's an honor to be here after the day I became a member. And I think I am also, I think so. We don't call it clubs, but I think I'm part of other clubs back at home in London, especially because I study social psychology and we have a group when we meet with other PhD and professors that are researching social psychology. And I think we are having the same issue that you have here. We don't have actually a venue to meet. We call ourselves a laboratory, but there is no laboratory actually. It's just ourselves. So I'd be happy to also like discuss this, because maybe some of the reflections that we have made I can bring here, and some of the discussions here maybe are helpful to us there.
Yeah.
Because he was already planning to bring a member there to activate the club also.
That is also part of something it could be very interesting to discuss here, that I would like to, because I have this issue that I'm a member of the Topiary Social Club, but I'm going back to London, so I was asking Paulina if it's possible to continue having meetings there in London, or to like host meetings there in London, and like what would be the venue if I'm there?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
Nice.
How it will be.
yeah.
And congratulations, Goy, for your venue in
Thank you.
the big toilet. I think that's a
Yeah.
great achievement. And I don't know how you felt before that, before having your studio. Was the radio existing in any other kinds, or how were you doing? Or now that you settled, you were able to open this radio?
So I do think it's like an ongoing thing, because although now we have a venue, but it's kind of a parasite in our studio. So we still work there, and it can, like, of course, me and my studio mate, we have to adjust our way of working to be able to run a radio there. Because, for example, it can also not be a really professional radio because we don't have enough space to build a booth. Then it's just kind of a table with we have like a CDJ and vinyl player, but it's not a booth. So it's a little bit annoying for sometimes the DJ's playing and then we have people hanging around and people are talking. So it's also not a really professional space. We do got some proposal from like other, so we rent our studio through Urban Resort.
Yeah.
So Urban Resort is this company that run a lot of artists studio residency in Amsterdam, and usually in anti-clock space, which used to be school, right? They have Lady, they have different place. And the building we are in now is also belongs to Urban Resort. And of course, they didn't know we're going to run the radio there. Of course, we didn't report that. We were just our studio. But now, they kind of love it. And then they want us to make event for them, which is nice. But still is a lot of bureaucracy you have to go through. So they also don't have budget. They have some budget, but not a lot. So they want us to run party, but in order to use everything for free, they still have to give us a yes that they got funding from somewhere else.
Yeah.
And we still are just using our studio. They didn't say, you can have a bigger studio or something. But they want us to make event for them, for their visibility. But we do have a proposal from other friends that work in Urban Resort and say like, we have this new space coming up. It's like closer in West, like in more like a popular West area. And then it's like a proper studio. It's a bit like this, but like maybe half of the great interior space now.
Yeah.
And they have this kind of style, like concrete floor, a bit this industrial. And it can be a kind of a potential better radio space for us, because we can probably even run a bar there, which is my dream. But we kind of say no, because it's, first of all, it's so soon. They want us to bring up, it's like 2 weeks ago they have the deadline. But also we are called Big Toilet Radio. I kind of like this, a bit of this struggling image, which is true. I don't want people to think, we have this good studio. I mean,
that's what
there the rent is also higher. We have to pay, now we pay like 300, there it's like 500-600. So we also have to earn more, because the problem is we need space for radio, so we can have more studio mates. So not more people can share, because both of us run the radio together. So we say yes. but it's also easier to adjust our working time because we're both freelancer.
Yeah. That was also what I wanted to ask, like,
Yeah.
if it's this the precariousness that I also share, no, of not having a venue, but that
Yeah.
makes you struggle or to find different solutions or ideas in which you collaborate with your partner from the
Yeah.
studio,
Yeah.
or what happens when you establish really like in a proper way. Does these kind of things are lost or not, or how you try to I don't know what you think, if it's we have to achieve the dream of the
Yeah.
how, what is for you, or I don't know, maybe.
Yeah. I guess, yeah, like I said, yeah, when you have that stability, yeah, then you lose some of the maybe like rawness or something of the beginning feeling. Yeah, but also, I guess people, I mean, it's kind of what you're searching for, right? It's kind of what that is. I guess that would be sort of the goal, to have a space to like succeed in a way. Yeah, but I mean, then I think that what you're doing becomes, yeah, you just have like way less changes. You can't be as experimental. But in a way, I guess you also could be more experimental because at least you feel more comfortable. So I guess there are two sides to it. Yeah, yeah.
What do you think, Diego?
I think even when you are more established or you get a place, you can never give it for granted, and that could even taken away easily, especially
Right.
if you're working in like precarious conditions.
Yeah.
Like I felt that in my own clubs back in university. Any space we have as PhD students are spaces that can be taken away, and we are constantly threatened by the university taking away those spaces.
Right.
So it's always the struggle. Like, okay, we accomplish something or we get something a bit more
Right.
established, but we still have like. So I think like for me the learning lesson there is like, even if you get a venue, or we get a venue, it's important to continue thinking in this other, like in the teachings that you found when you didn't have one. Like continue thinking on those things, to be open to experimentation, to be open to try different things, because like from one day to the other that could be taken away.
And what would be those teachings for your or experience, maybe?
The teaching came a lot from rejection, right?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
me and my partner in crime, we want to make. I mean, I did make a big event last 2 months ago, but that only worked also through networking, especially in Amsterdam. Like networking is a big thing. I mean, we did something in Bucharest, which is a bar, and I know the people there. So, but even that, we know that it's still a bit of a struggle of, for example, I do in the bar, I actually bring everyone. I think I can say 90% of the customer that night came because of us. But of course, all the money that is earned is through the venue.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that for us also a little bit like, we could have earned those money and give it to the DJ or give it to people who play, and for ourselves also, instead of just because we use the space and we lose those money. And that's, I think, I guess in most of the big city, one of the struggle of like rounding party or music event is like you have to lose this money of selling drinks. Because that is most of the time, even like Garage North everywhere, they have almost like the same starting point that, okay, if you reach this money, you don't have to pay the rent. But it's somehow also a bit shitty
Yeah,
because
yeah.
you actually bring everyone there and they earn this 2K.
Yeah.
2K is usually the starting because of you, right? But then you also don't, I mean, you can sell ticket. So that is here so if you want to make a party, I think most of venue in Amsterdam, I don't know other city, it's like they earn the drinks and bar, you earn the ticket. So, but if you earn the ticket, it's also like then if your audience, you want your audience to pay that money.
Yeah.
Because there was a party I went before, and then because they tried to have as much DJ from outside of Amsterdam as possible, so they have to pay a lot of transport. And then at the end, the ticket it reflect on the ticket, and the ticket was so expensive, and then they just don't have a lot of people.
Right.
So it's always this struggle of, but there is always a way out. So the
Yeah.
way out is to do it in an illegal venue. That is like the best way to earn money, because first of all, you can sell ticket cheap.
Mhm.
You can also sell drinks
Yeah.
yourself. But
Yeah.
then you have to work yourself. You have to volunteer, or you have to hire your friends to do it. But that also a risk, because the police can always show up.
Yeah.
Right? Police
Yeah.
can always ask, shit, you cannot sell things here.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah,
it don't happen so much because there's also tricks. You just say it's a donation base.
Yeah.
As long as it's donation based, the police cannot do anything.
Ah,
But
cool. That's a good learning.
yeah.
Yeah.
But even
But-
those
but
spaces is
also-
not easy to find
Absolutely.
anymore after Corona. During Corona, it's very easy to find a rave space. A lot of space is empty.
Yeah.
But now, like, I mean, it's very difficult. And since Corona is over in Amsterdam, to find a space.
So there are different.
You have-
Sorry.
No, I was just actually. This is a question because I always thought that if you were like having a rave or something that, I mean, still if you're in an illegal space, the cops they can tell you to go, right?
They can. I mean, they can, but usually the cop only come because of people reported it.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Because you
Or
make
no-
noises.
Yeah,
So.
go under a bridge.
I mean, I haven't done this kind of event, but I do have, like, my studio mate, he did this event before. What they did is, like, it's not really a totally illegal space, like an art space, like this.
Okay.
So the police doesn't really suspect anything because they think it's an art event.
Yes.
Right.
So I also heard there's a way of, during Corona, people are using this technique, which is pretend you are filming something.
Ah,
Yes.
okay. You're filming a party.
Yeah, but I mean, they will see money, and it was about this is the props, you know.
Yeah.
We are filming some. You just have to put
Are you
some
serious?
camera around. Yeah.
That's-
Yeah, dirty art.
are
They make a
different,
big
eh?
party in a storage place
Really?
No,
during
but
Corona because they say we are filming something.
Wow,
but I love
that's
that
wild.
because okay, charity, art, and filming. Like
Yeah.
you
That's
have
the-
multiple excuses
Yeah.
that you can create for not being kicked out of
Yeah.
space.
Yeah.
All right.
No, but for me that's interesting because I also felt it was part of the board meeting you were discussing yesterday. Yesterday we have a Topiary board meeting, and there Paulina said something about when you are holding sessions outside in the public, and even outside sometimes it's not that public as it's supposed to be. Outdoors is not equal to something that is public and fully accessible. And yeah, I'm thinking of that. Like I'm originally from Chile, and I feel in Chile and also in London where I live now, like you cannot do anything outside. Like
it's
any
really
potential
different.
meeting
Yeah.
with 5 people or more could be potentially like get you the cops asking questions like, "What are you doing here?"
Just 5 people.
Yeah, it could
What if you
be.
just-
Especially in Chile, we have some like political unrest
Yeah.
the last 5 years, I would say, and there are moments where there are like big social like a rise where
Right.
people cannot have like big meetings outside because it could be like potentially cops asking questions, and it
yeah,
could
yeah.
be even illegal from cops doing that, but like it's for me it's the idea of always being like seen and registered and asked and like
Yeah.
what is actually public if you are like having that issues. But I do like the learning lesson, like the teaching lessons there, because I didn't
Yeah.
think of that, and it's interesting because as well as you are being like monitored sometimes illegally, like they don't actually have the rights to do that to you.
Right.
You can lie or create some excuses that are
You
also
can
like
make the movie.
Yeah,
Yes,
you can create a
You're not
movie.
lying. Yeah.
yeah.
But even filming something, they might actually do have the license to film something. But I think if it's indoor, they cannot say it, if it's indoor because it's your private space.
Yes.
And what I
But if it's
want,
outdoor, it's tricky.
Yeah.
because what I wonder, because Goy said of this network, that you have this network already to gather and to move people
Yeah.
from venue to venue,
Yep.
and maybe with this changing, then they will follow you. They
Yeah.
will follow the big toilet. But
Yeah.
what happened, or what could be the struggle without not having a venue and not having also the people,
The
no?
people.
Yeah, yeah.
So
That's
how
much
you
harder
do
to
it,
do.
and
Part.
I don't know how you, also for people that are new in a place and that are wandering around different places, don't have the network consolidated. I don't know if, Nick, you have an experience with something related to that, also with the
Yeah.
events that you were doing about this
No.
vegan reading discussions. And
Totally. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I mean, I think that when you don't have a space, yeah, like in my experience doing, yeah, like animal rights stuff, I think that the turnover in people is really high. Like it's a lot harder to hold down a group when you don't have a space because, yeah, just people don't feel connected to the community immediately. If you're just meeting outdoors, like doing something, yeah, you don't have enough, like, you also don't always have enough time to like get to know people because you can only be in a space for so long before eventually someone's gonna make you leave, or like the weather is bad, or like you're also really like you're at the whim of a lot of different things, right? Like society, like the climate. If it starts to rain, you kind of have to go, so I definitely noticed that people would kind of come and go, and unless you kind of really promote. You have to take a really active role in like promoting community, especially if you're doing something else, because these organizations, like they're like activism organizations, so the point isn't completely about community. It's about, there's like a goal in mind, so even though it is a community, I think if you don't put like really an active focus on taking care of people, making people feel connected, making people feel like a part of something, then you're really going to lose people. I mean, I think, to be honest, this is kind of one of the reasons why I pulled a bit back, because I didn't feel like there was enough focus on this. Although I do feel that, like, as in terms of like activism in general, I've noticed that a lot of people are putting more focus on like community care and taking care of people, which I think will definitely like makes people feel closer to one another in that regard. Yeah.
For you as a lesson, maybe?
No, I mean, it's always tricky. Okay.
Yeah.
No, what I was saying is that sometimes there are only like, I don't know, like 4 to 3 attendees to a full seminar where a speaker like prepared a full presentation and they were maybe expecting for more. And then like for me, it's like trying to negotiate their own expectations as an organizing group, and trying also to like, how you say valorar? To valorate? Valorate?
Validate.
Value? Valorate?
Like give value.
Yeah.
To give value to what it is. Because for me, even organizing and hearing someone speaking about their research, I'm learning and I find this space useful. Even if it's only me, that hasn't happened. But if something like that happened, I like, is to be grateful of that moment and say like, this is also enrichful for everyone involved.
Yeah.
Well, I think there's a normativity where a club has to have
Big.
has to be big.
Right.
Like if a club has less than 30 members, so this is not a club. It's a group of friends.
Yeah.
So, but I think that's only normativity. It's not actually.
True.
Well, maybe there's some good stuff.
And I was related to that. I was also thinking, because this is a place for pop-up. It's used for pop-up different stores or kitchens or restaurants. And I was reading about what pop-up means, like what does it in, and it's like a new marketing really thing that emerged after COVID, because people, it was too expensive to rent places, so they lost their venues, and now they are doing this pop-up thing. That is what I've been doing. I've been baking.
Like popping up.
Yeah, like you just appear somewhere. Temporary. Like the club is popping up here. And it was really interesting because now it has become a marketing tool.
Yeah.
And like big companies are doing it because it's more cheap.
Yeah.
And they just like appear, and then tons of massive people come because it's a new and unique event.
Yeah.
Isn't Taco
It's very
pop-up,
fashionable.
like when I did it here?
Yeah, different that are coming into this district.
Yeah.
And what I see in like this list of the tools or the good keys of this pop-up marketing structure is that it doesn't have reflectiveness, because it's just, you just come one time and you go and buy and consume and leave. So also I was thinking about what you were saying about this, what kind of encounter you want to build, no? Maybe it can be more literal, more intimate, but more honest and more, rather than just passers by, we are cool and I don't know.
Yeah. But I do like that. I mean,
yeah.
I feel like right now the balance goes towards more like the norm of having this big connection. If not, it's like, at least talking about clubs. Like club membership, club venues. I'm thinking like the balance of the social beliefs around it is like it has to be very committed. It has to be a lot of people. It has to be like very.
Right.
And I do like what the Topiary Club is like bringing us like to give the space of if you show up, you're already a member. You're like being part of something, and maybe you are
You
away, and you still feel like you are a member, but you don't necessarily go for like a month, and you went again, and you say, I'm still a member of. Like, I like about that because for me, even it's like it encourages me to do it with other areas of my life. Like right now, if I go in, like walking through the park, and I see like a random event, maybe I feel a
It
bit
will pop
more.
up. Yeah.
Yeah, I will feel a bit more empowered because I honestly, I would say like 2 or 3 years ago, I wouldn't do that. I would
Yeah.
feel like, no, I don't know what they are doing. I feel uncomfortable.
Yeah.
If someone reaches to me and say like, we're doing this, do you want to join? I would say like, no. But right now, maybe with this own experience with yesterday and today, I feel like a bit more like, okay, yeah, let's do it. What is the worst that can happen?
If you have a club that's really that all you have to do is show up to be a part of it, do you lose some sort of like meaning to the club because you don't have any sort of entry? Like then everyone's part of it, right? I mean, it just happens to be you're physically in the right location. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
What do you guys think?
Yeah.
Is
That's
it
also,
good
but
to
then
have
you
some
can
sort of rules,
introduce your thing to them. I don't know, but it also depends on what kind of club. If
Yeah.
it's like it need a lot of passion, you
Yeah.
know, toward a topic or a subject, then it's different. Then you cannot, I think, then you cannot really
Yeah.
expect it to be so big crowd because they need devotion, right? For example, you play a game together.
Yeah.
You need to know what is the point last time,
Mm.
and now we start again.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that is more about passion. But I think it really depends. Like, for example, radio, for me, I just really care about how many people
You can.
we attracted.
You're
Yeah.
going for quantity.
Yeah,
Yeah.
quantity
Yeah.
is really. I mean, quality is also very important, but for
Yeah.
me, quantity is important
Yeah.
because for me, I also feel responsible for people who play there.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
I don't want them to only have a few. I mean, they also come here because of the platform, right? We
Yeah.
are
Yeah,
more
they
like a
want
platform.
Yeah.
Yeah, than a club.
Yeah.
I mean, we have our audience,
Yep.
and then that's why they
How big is
came
your audience?
here. Huh?
How big is the audience?
As big
Yeah,
as
what
the
they
toilet.
wanted.
As big as the toilet. But the thing is, the way it's also win-win situation because when you have a new people playing something
Yeah.
in our place, we have a new output. They also bring new input because then they
Yeah.
bring their friends,
Yep.
and then their friends bring other friends. So
Yeah.
then they also know, oh, okay, big toilet radio.
Yep.
That's a way, but it also gave me sometimes a bit of a weird, like, decision of like a lot of people that used to play also really want to play again, but I do need new listeners. So then I have to stretch the circle out, right? And I
Yeah.
have to invite other people from other circle.
Yeah.
But then the people from the old circle have no more chance. So now I kind of developed this new recipe of like we have public event every 2-3 months.
Yeah.
And this public event, we've invited the people, old people back again.
Yeah.
But the episode, we usually just invite new people.
Yeah.
And the forever resident is me and my student mate. So
Yeah.
we always play something.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think it's also very difficult because when you realize as someone who is not having a real power, but when you just start something, like usually a platform, people really need you
Yeah.
somehow. And then they came to you and they say, I want to do this.
Yeah.
And then you really had to start to make decision. And it's also about who are your friends, who do you want it to be there. It's really weird. But it's also a lot in artwork, right? And when
Yeah.
a friend of you start a project space.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, and you a bit like, okay, yeah, how do I get in there?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's really, I never been in this position of having this space, a venue,
Yeah.
a platform
Yeah.
of, okay, just because I open my studio as a radio now, people start coming to me, although it's just a big toilet radio.
Yeah, yeah,
you know,
yeah, yeah,
it's
yeah,
not
yeah.
even the big, but people are really, because there's so many people creating things, but there's not a lot of platform.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So people really, and especially when the platform just start, I think it's the best chance to, get contact,
Yeah.
get into connection, because the more they grow bigger, I mean, there's a lot of also radio now in Amsterdam where they started as underground radio and now they really become like
And
annoying in a way.
yeah.
Like they can say no to people who actually have really good project because of their connection.
Yeah.
And I really don't like, I avoid to become that.
That's what I'm also thinking, like how a platform can also become in a really exclusive
Yeah.
club.
Yeah.
You know, like when it gets more bigger, it has to start filtered,
Yes.
and it does not
Yeah.
it's not so open
Not so
anymore, and
open
it's not.
Yeah.
It's really a challenge.
really
Also,
happens.
what's your purpose, and
Yeah.
and also reflecting on what you were saying about if you want. Like an intimate connection to build a sense of belonging, then maybe you need that same community to join once and again. So
Yeah.
maybe you offer them the same music that they like.
Yeah.
Or,
Right.
but if you want different ones,
Yeah.
really depends on your
Yeah.
aims.
Yeah.
It's true.
And I feel like in that sense, it's very, very different to be an like director organizing that being a member.
Yeah.
Like, that changes a
Yeah.
lot.
Yeah.
Because being a member is more like this open decision of being there or not. But the organizing has all that you were mentioning, like it has a whole world behind, like in the mind of
Yeah.
who I talk with, who I invite, how I like where we should meet, thinking about also the next month and the next year if you want to like have a projection of your project, of your club. So I think you have it's a bit of being like an actual director of like a whole movie or a whole work. Like,
Yeah.
well, you try to put pieces together to make sense of what you're doing, and I think that's even if you want to make it as democratic as possible. I would say that it's always like that happens. There's a group of people, sometimes one person, that
Yeah.
puts everything together,
Everything.
puts everything on the shoulders,
Mhm.
and makes sense of the things that are going to happen. And yes, I mean, a club, after all, it's different to just, or maybe not. I don't know, but I think it's different to just saying like meetings or society. It has like certain boundary. If not, we wouldn't call it
Club.
a club.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
But what are the boundaries?
Yeah.
then?
Yeah. I mean, I do want to mention something about like venue, but there is a very important venue nowadays, which it's an
And
easy
you
way
choose
to
it.
start something, is internet, right?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I also start just like how you spread yourself out to get member. You have an Instagram account.
yeah,
Yeah.
And that is really, I think, nowadays the most easy way. I don't know if it's the best way. I do got a lot of member of the radio because of internet.
Yeah.
And then you have to spend a lot of energy on
Mm.
marketing, how you make a post, how you show, and also you have to know, I have to go check, what is the best time to post things?
Mm.
How do you get more like?
yeah,
So one of the trick of getting more likes is you need to have a lot of faces in the photo. When you have a lot of faces, the Instagram will show it more on the algorithm because they want Instagram also want more member. So when they see a human face, it's okay, they have more faces that's gonna see this face. So if you make a post without any face, probably you get half likes. But if you have a lot of different, because they can detect human face, right?
Yeah.
You have different faces showing up. The opportunity for Instagram to have more
Mm.
member. So I once made a post with every photo different. I didn't think about it. I just want to post about the radio, and
Yeah.
then suddenly every photo is different faces. I got so many like. I never got that much like. I was like, why? And I realized every photo there's a different human face,
yeah,
and they like it. So if you know all of this trick, it's actually helping. But it depends only if you want a quantity.
Yeah.
But for me, there's also a lot of trouble of like, I got really attached to my phone because now I work with my phone
Yeah.
too,
Mm.
with social media.
yeah,
It's a lot of mind fucked. Like you really get like. Also, my thumb is really fucked up.
Yeah.
My whole arm, right? Because I have to constantly swipe. Then not only social media, but also all the DJ, all the people want to play, they contact me through phone.
Yeah.
Right? They text me on Instagram,
Yeah.
and then every story you post, people will say something, and you have to answer because you want to be a nice host. Right? You
Yeah.
have to answer everyone, and it's a 24 hours job also
Yeah.
to use online venue, but
Yeah.
which is a good way though, because it's
Yeah.
if you start online venue before having a physical venue, it will work because then people know you already. So that's finally they have a venue.
Yeah.
Finally I can see them face to
Yeah.
face.
Yeah.
And so I have a lot of people, whenever I post like a photo of us hanging around a big toilet, and they will just say like, can I go there like next time? What is the address? And then people are just
Yeah.
How is
Yeah.
for
Online.
you,
yeah.
online venue?
Yeah.
You feel
Sorry? Was it-
how is for you an online venue? You are
Yeah. Not-
involved with that kind of venue, or
Mm,
how it feels?
I guess something I was thinking was that just all of the physical. This is a little bit off topic, but all of the physical space in the world has been like somehow owned, through like the rise of capitalism.
Yeah.
So I think that the internet is like the new, like
Democracy.
open land sort of that people can now, like lay claim to. I mean, like every inch of the earth, even like Antarctica, is actually like cut into little pieces and like owned by certain countries. But no, I mean, I guess in that way, the internet is a really amazing thing because it gives people space, and you can just sort of take it. You can just start an Instagram account, like it doesn't cost you anything. So it's a cool, sort of like way to be able to take space when you don't have physical space. So I like that. Yeah.
But it's also tricky.
Yeah,
You
I
have
can
to-
also
Because that's what they say, no? Internet is for free. It's because they earn money from you. So
yeah,
then they can fuck you up with algorithm. They can shadow
Yeah.
ban you.
yeah,
It's really also tricky because it, like, social media, it's very addictive, but it also, like, make you really... so for me, I always feel like, did I do something wrong? That's why I have less people liking this. Or it's also for me scary as
Yeah,
a host
affect-
when I
Yeah.
post DJ. It's okay. This DJ have more like than that DJ, and I was like, wow, what I will feel if I'm, it's
Yeah,
tricky.
if you are,
And then
yeah.
it's not a fair platform,
no,
right?
it's not fair. I also
No.
feel
But I
it's
guess
not
I
fair.
also didn't explore other platforms
Yeah, yeah.
instead
Yeah.
of Instagram, because I think Instagram is the most around my circle used platform. But there's also like, I don't know, I think there's something called Discord.
Yes.
Yeah, I haven't
It's
used-
apparently
like a-
more like a club, right? It's really
Yeah.
like, okay, let's start this topic, and
Yeah.
everyone who have
Discord is for,
interest
like,
in this
gaming a
topic,
lot.
they
Yeah.
join this
Yeah.
room,
Good to know,
chat
maybe
room.
the
Yes.
topic
Yeah,
is
yeah, yeah.
social
And you
club.
join the
Yeah.
chat room and you talk
Yeah.
about something together.
Yeah.
So that's more like a club, actually.
Yeah, absolutely. There's like multiple online things. Like, for example, if a streamer that is streaming things in Twitch,
Yeah.
they have an
They have a
additional area, the
Discord.
Discord. The Discord is a club. It's where
Yeah.
people actually meet and can discuss and have like a more.
Is it mainly meant for like gaming or
No,
is it-
no, not necessarily.
Okay.
I mean, gaming they use it a lot,
Started.
but
Yeah.
it could
Yeah.
be like anything.
Yeah.
It's very open and
Yeah.
yeah. But something that I would like to bring to the table now that we are discussing this is because one of the issues that has been studied when looking at more like radicalized groups, especially, for example, more the ultra-conservative and alt-right movements in the United States, in Chile now we're having, I imagine here in Europe too, is that the online venue
Yeah.
allowed for groups that weren't actually like socially like allowed to
Accepted,
meet in
yeah.
accepted to
Oh,
meet
yeah.
in person and like in face to face, because you wouldn't have like there's a multiple countries that like prohibits
Yeah.
meeting between, for example, fascist idea, like how do
Yeah.
you say
Yeah,
that?
yeah.
Yeah.
So like, or authoritarian ideas, or like
It's a more hidden, secret way. to be
Yes,
able to do these
absolutely,
things.
and they have organized that way multiple things that are very
Yeah.
dangerous to
Right.
society.
That's true.
And I think it's very interesting because actually it proves the point that internet can create an actual venue and then
Yeah.
and
Yeah,
with
yeah,
all the
yeah.
effects that a venue has.
Right.
But at the same time, it has like this
The potential
the
for-
potential for.
Yeah.
But at the same time,
But I think that's just like what a. Sorry, were you finished?
no, please interrupt me.
Yeah, I was just gonna say I think that's just that's just how
Pros and
it acts.
cons.
It works when you have a tool like that. You know, the internet is a way to connect people, and I think also on the flip side, there probably are also a lot of like marginalized groups that feel that now they can meet people
Yeah.
on the internet
It's
that
accessible
previously
for
couldn't.
everybody, for any
Exactly.
purpose.
It's the same thing. I mean, I think it's the same thing about spread of information on the internet. Like, there's a lot of misinformation, but that just comes when you create like a large space to be able to share things. You're always going to get like two sides, you know, like the good and the bad.
Yeah.
I guess you could say. And yeah, I think people label things. Yeah, like for example, you were saying about social media, people like sometimes label it as like addictive or dangerous or
Yeah.
something
Yeah.
like that. But really, it's just like a tool that's really easy to use for anything, you know. And you have to just be really careful with it. I think
Yeah.
people don't see the power, the potential. I think of the internet. I think people take it really casually, actually, you know. But it's really not something. I don't think it's something to be taken casually. It's like the ocean, for example. People take it. I mean, you just go to the beach and you hang out. But realistically, it's an extremely powerful force.
Yeah.
You could have a tsunami or a hurricane, like a typhoon or something like that,
Yeah.
which could destroy entire countries have
Yeah.
been like destroyed because of the ocean.
Yeah.
even though- yeah. So
Yeah.
It's very
you know what I mean?
yeah, but it's also something. I mean, now it's gonna be another topic to just if we talk about internet. But for me, it's just scary. I mean, I'm using it every day because I need it, but also at the same time, when you are more using internet, you know, you're also building a bigger internet world, which is actually when first I think internet was invented when I was a kid. Internet is the place to get knowledge. So I thought everyone's gonna become more open-minded when you have internet. You're gonna see more things going up,
Yeah.
what's happening in the world, which is one of true. But the problem with internet is actually like what Diego just said, this marginalized group. They only see what they want to see, right?
Yeah,
Because
right.
Yes.
internet is for free, so they want to sell you things. So they want you to be addicted to internet. So
Yeah.
they, for example, the marginalized group, they link it to another marginalized group. Oh no, not marginalized. Sorry, I'm saying the right wings.
Yeah.
Marginalized also, but in a good way. They all link to each
for
other.
sure.
But they show you the more things you want to see. So at the end, the problem is all of this club become
It's too effective.
become
to
very
make-
Yeah.
diverse, but also become very
Segregated. Yeah.
separate,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Completely.
Black and white, and then it's like what Nick also said, it's a big ocean, but it's also dark, so you don't see your neighbor. And that's the problem, because when you are in this dark room but just talk about things, you really feel like everyone's like you.
Yeah.
That's the thing, like, you know, when all of this political thing happened,
Yeah.
I have no clue what happened, because everyone around me is like
Yeah.
the same
Yeah,
as
yeah,
me.
yeah.
I was like,
It-
how
it's-
come this happened?
Yeah.
And you
Yeah.
start to hate the other girls, like they are stupid,
Absolutely.
they have no
Sure.
clue what they are doing, but actually they think the same as you,
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
everyone around them is the same.
Yeah.
So that's the problem with internet. Like, maybe it's actually not good to use it, but it's very difficult for now, I think, in this era, maybe this 10 years, to give up it. But I think there should be a new way of
Yeah.
merging, I guess, real venue, and because when real venue come up, you see the truth more.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So-
yeah.
Completely.
So maybe it should be actually more limited in internet.
You think?
But how?
It's
Yeah,
not
it's
free,
also it's not
no?
possible. It's not possible. But okay,
Yeah.
but not limited.
Some countries do
the
that. People don't
inter-
like it very much.
Yeah, not to build a wall, but not to limit it to internet. Okay, I say, but open more real venue.
Yeah.
Because then, okay,
That's
if the
what
government
I
say,
did
okay,
say.
this big building now we build is for people to start different clubs.
Yeah.
Then maybe then more and more people decide to do it in
Yeah.
real life.
And,
Yes.
and maybe I have an anecdote that made me go and look for the social clubs was
Yeah.
that we were in the pandemic, and then I was looking into the story of a town in Facebook because I
Yeah.
was going to work in that town in Folston, And while looking, there was this group of the Foco Club,
Okay.
and then we were in the middle of the pandemics, and then the head chair of this club was making quiz nights in Facebook. He was sitting in the live streaming, making quiz nights. All people participating from the club really, really involved and engaged in it. And he kept his club running even in the worst scenario. And he really had the ideas of and all I don't know, my friends that were social workers and working with community didn't have a clue on how to continue working on being with people. And this man, 70, 80 years old, had it, through Facebook.
That talks about flexibility, because I could imagine that person has been hosting in-person quiz nights for more than 40 years.
Right.
And like they adapted to what the conditions allowed to.
Not crazy.
No, it's crazy.
I was thinking we didn't prepare. We are starting this radio, so we didn't prepare a music pause. But maybe we can take a pause, and then we gather again just to make a final reflection, closure of the program.
We can also be singing here in the background.
We can sing some songs.
But we can stop it maybe.
How many minutes?
5 minutes.
5 minutes?
Okay.
5-minute break.
We can stop like a break because we didn't have any music. Just to maybe make a final reflection of what we have been talking, and I will want to bring something that the Topiary Social Club is an obstinate club, and it's like one of its guts is to follow the nomadic path until the end. So not having a fixed venue, never.
Okay.
What would you advise after all this talk? What would advice would you give to the Topiary Social Club in achieving this crazy maybe path, or what would be?
Not having a but it's like not a fixed venue, but you always have a physical venue, but like different places. That's what you mean.
Yeah, would it also be like online?
Physical,
it's
I guess.
Physical,
Physical.
but like
I agree.
But in motion.
Physical.
then
Motion.
I would say if that is your if you don't have a fixed physical venue, then people have to be following around. So it's also a lot of work to travel and to bike. So I guess to have a strong group that connected. So probably like the quality but not quantity will be. Because then if you have people who's always gonna go when you have anyway Topiary club somewhere, then I think it's like your goal is to have like people join the membership who is like willing to. Because what I can say is like last time I did make an event, a dating event. Myself, and it was before the event. I feel like so many people are gonna come, so many people sign up, but at the end people don't really come because I did it in somewhere a little bit further, and then the weather is not so good, and then I was actually a bit angry because I already arranged like a really nice boat for people to date, because then people have different preference,
I heard about that.
Yeah, I do.
It didn't go well?
No, it goes well, but I do have a perfect image in my mind. Okay, this person and this person might match because they have the same preference. But at the end, some people don't show up, so then I have to put people that maybe not
it changes
on the paper that match on the same boat. So for me, it was a difficulty. But so then I know, okay, maybe next time I need people to pay deposit.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was going to say.
Or something like that. So then if I spend effort, then I also know people is gonna also follow their promise.
That will be the advice.
Yeah. So my advice is like to have commitment from your member, which I think it's maybe take time to achieve. But if you make good event, you always have. If you make people in the membership become friends to each other, they always come together.
Thank you, Koi.
You're welcome.
The Topiary Social Club appreciates it.
You're welcome.
I think that what Goy was saying, actually, I was also kind of thinking this, that you have to give some sort of, commitment. I think financial commitment is sometimes even like a very small one. I think that there's like some research that shows if you charge people just like 2 or 3 euros they're actually more likely to show up than if it's free. Because if it's free, it's so easy to just bail at the last minute. You know, maybe you're just like,
That's actually
you just don't feel like, you're like, oh man, it's in an hour, I don't feel like going. But if you just pay a few bucks, you're like, oh well, I should really go. You know, I did spend some money on it. So I feel like there's,
good to know.
yeah. Like sometimes people feel like
haven't
the
charged any
cost is like a barrier, but actually I think if it's a very low cost, you know, and people see the value in it, then it's actually it'll actually maybe make your chances of having people come more likely. Yeah, and I think you also get like a better sort of result for numbers. I think that, yeah, but when you are doing this without fixed location, I feel like you need that hook. So yeah, some reason to have people feel committed. It could be like financial. It could also be something else. Maybe. Yeah, I don't know. It's something that sort of draws them in, and then I think once you have them, then you have to do like reinforce, like why they're going to stay. You know, so make them feel special, make them feel like a part of something. I think that you need to do have an online presence. I mean, I think that like in all of the organizations that I've like been a part of or helped lead, and we didn't have a fixed location, you always have to have like a lot of online presence to be able to get people to. Just to be aware of what's going on, honestly. Yeah.
And in addition to that, maybe passing to Diego as well, or anyone else who wants to jump, but this is a nomadic club that is not even in the same city all the time, not even in the same country all the time.
Yes.
So that we can also add into the nomadicness of the club.
Yeah. In that term, I mean, I'm a bit of a obsessive person in how I take note and systematize everything. I would recommend, on your question, like try to have it has to be short, because if not, people don't read things and don't use it and feel overwhelmed. But for example, that I would like to host a Topiary social club meeting back in London. For me, it could be useful to have like a very brief guidance on how to do it, what are the tips or the things that we have learned here. I'm taking notes in my mind about like
making a film,
art and charity.
Yeah.
So those type of things I think are very useful. So like for me, like if I want to host a social club meeting, it's okay. How do I do it? Because I have worked with other things like seminars or whatever, but actually like a social club more proper as you're having here in Topiary, like I think it's something a bit new to me, and it could be very useful to have like these little tips. And just another thing that comes to my mind because hearing about the discussion is like one way of getting commitment from people is also like maybe making those other people that are not necessarily you to care about the venue, because because the director is always going to be very caring about multiple other things, and people sometimes when they take care of the venue, they also need to take care about the food, and so they don't do it. They will say no, it couldn't be in my home because I can imagine everything that I need to do. Yeah. But if you say no, I'm caring for everything. I just need your home, like your house.
Yeah.
Like I could say, okay, I can make a space in my house. If you're saying that you are caring about the other things, maybe I could do that, and that puts me in like more commitment position because I'm like hosting the space, but I don't have the whole responsibility of carrying the club. Yeah. Because I think that's the reason why people sometimes take a step back. But yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Maybe you have anything else to add or to add?
Just to thank you for having us, for inviting us.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank
It
you
was
all
an
for
amazing.
coming.
No, it was an amazing discussion. Thank you very much.
And thank you very much, Nina, that has
Thank
been
you,
taking
Nina.
Thanks,
care of
Nina.
this audio quality for the first time.
Technician.
The club's vibe. We have a technician carrying in the hall.
Oh yeah, very.
No, I'm
very
lying.
profesh.
Before we also had Mark, but now we have Nina as well.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Thank you
all.
so
Thanks,
much.
Paulina.
Thank you.
Ciao. And thank you for your wise lessons.
Thank you.
very
We
much.
got
Thank you very much.
each other's wise lesson.
Yeah.
Yes.
Let's hope
Lots
to
of
see each
wisdom.
other in the next activity of Topiary Social
Yeah.
Club.
See you at the next.
Whenever,
the next
whenever
meeting.
and wherever it is.
Yeah.
True. Wherever, whenever.
I will take a pass. Thank you.
Hey.